What is going on, guys? Exciting day because I just got this titanium road bike. I bought it used and it just arrived to me today. So I'm gonna unbox this titanium road bike and we're just gonna take a quick look and see what's inside. Okay, very exciting. So the bike frame is, I believe, Litespeed model is Sierra, and this is a fairly old frame. This is from 2007. So it will be interesting to find out more details about it once we open the package. So I have just quickly kind of reassembled most of the stuff. The bike is actually very, very lightweight. The frame is super lightweight. And I think the whole setup, the seller says it's around 17 pounds. So fairly lightweight bike. But right now it's actually pretty dirty. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually, before I'm putting the wheel on and getting everything, reassembled, I'm gonna do a full cleaning. Remove some of the sticker residues over here and then just get the frame nice and clean. So when I put it back for myself, it would look a little bit better than what its current state is. I mean, titanium frame, the beauty of titanium frame is super easy to clean. Just scrub everything off and it should look as good as new, okay? But absolutely beautiful frame. Those hydroformed, I don't know how you call it, but those tubing are actually not round. They're all shaped differently. The only thing that's round is the steering tube and the seat tube. The seat tube is a 31 millimeter, I think. So it's gonna provide, this bike, I'm assuming it's gonna be very stiff bike perfect for climbing or like a little bit of the racing. But I'm not a competitive racer, so I only ride for fun. This bike is gonna serve its purpose perfectly fine for climbing and group rides, okay? So I'm gonna clean the bike first, and after I clean the bike, I'm gonna put everything back up, and then we're gonna take a whole general look of what this bike looks like with components all installed, okay? So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Wow, guys, so I pretty much put up all the parts together and I took the bike out, just give it a general bath, and now it's already looking so much better. It's beautiful. Again, titanium frame is amazing in terms of the easiness of cleaning. This is like, there's no paint on it and it doesn't scratch, so it's super easy to just clean everything. And the whole bike is just beautiful. This is again a 2007 Litespeed Siena bike frame with a 2016 SRAM Force 11-speed by 2 setup. Okay, so a older frame with a modern, fairly modern group set, and it's actually working fantastic. All right, guys, I just washed the bike and used Glue Gun to remove all the stickers for now. There are still 2 stickers that I really want to remove that were original, which was the 3/2.5, sticker. And over here, the original Litespeed sticker from 2007. Those stickers, the graphics looks pretty outdated. So I want to get them removed so the bike looks nice and clean and, up to date at least. But look at the rest of the bike. This is a absolutely beautiful frame. The 2007 Litespeed Siena. I don't think they make this frame anymore. And when I went online and tried to find more info about this frame, very few reviews, very few videos, or actually no videos at all about this frame. But I want to tell you guys that this frame is absolutely beautiful. The welds are fantastic. They're very tidy and very well welded. Let's just say that. So I'm gonna pull out my other titanium bike, which is the Van Nicholas. That was my commuter bike for city commute, and I'm gonna show you guys the difference so you know that this frame, this Litespeed Siena, is definitely made you know, in terms of welding quality, in terms of the design, it's definitely one step above the Van Nicholas titanium bike that I had. So let me pull the other bike and we're gonna do a quick comparison. All right, guys, so I pulled my other titanium bike, my city commuter. So this is a Van Nicholas. I don't really know the exact model number, but this is more of a endurance setup. As you can see from the very relaxed geometry compared to the Siena. The Siena is a race bike. It's a crit bike designed for speed. And again, I have to actually test ride it to let you guys know whether it's gonna be compliant or not on the road, because I literally just got the bike today. Haven't had a chance to test ride it on the road, so I'll let you guys know in the final section of this video review. But my other bike, this more relaxed geometry, you can tell it's more relaxed by the space between, you know, the tires and the seat tube. There's a lot of clearance. This bike also uses a long reach caliper brake, so you can actually run a much wider tire on this. So I can literally convert it to a gravel setup and just ride it on loose gravels. But again, I don't have that hobby, and I have a mountain bike for those kind of riding. So city bike, it's set up as a 700 by 25C tire, and compare that clearance between the tire and the seat tube with the Siena. Look at how little the clearance there are. There's literally no clearance at all. This is a 26C tire, so I would assume probably the largest you can run is 26. If you go 28, there might not be enough clearance for you to run 28, unless you go a single chain setup to get rid of the little bump over there. You might be able to run 28. But then again, if you look over here, the clearance from the brake caliper is also extremely small. This bike is built for very tight, very, very tight tolerance, okay? And the welds are beautiful. The welds are beautiful. Like, I didn't have a comparison, and I thought the Van Nicholas welds were decent. But look at the welds here. It's actually much larger. But again, it could be due to the geometry difference and the tubing difference. So the welds are larger. I mean, it's not an ugly welds, but it's more obvious. It's more pronounced on the Van Nicholas frame. If you look over here, I mean, it's pretty decent welds. And this bike, the frame is actually made in China. The Siena, the frame is made in USA, right here in USA, in Tennessee. But the Siena is a road bike built for speed and climbing because it's super lightweight. With this current setup, the Mavic, what's this wheel? The Cerium SLS. This wheel set is super, super lightweight. I think less than 1,500 grams. That's how lightweight those wheels are. So the front is carbon hub, and the rear, you know, aerial bladed spokes, very few spokes. And it's not carbon hub, but it's a very lightweight rear wheel, okay? So paired with the SRAM Force, you know, 2x11 setup, the SRAM, usually their group set in comparison to the Shimano, the counterparts are usually lighter, okay? So this SRAM Force 11, you know, by 2 is actually a very lightweight group set. I think a little more than 2,000 grams. So there you have it. It's this bike. It's set up for speed, set up for climbing, and I'm not sure if it's going to be good for city commuting. For city commuting, I'm definitely going to use my flat bar titanium because it's so easy, and I got a full rack on the back. I can put my bike. I mean, I can put my bag on the back, and I got all my, you know, my bells and the whistles. This is a really nice, what's it called? The spruce cycle bell. Super, super loud, really nice to have for city commuting, and my Garmin Edge mount right there. For the road bike, there's basically no space to put anything here. It's just pretty much built for speed, okay? So it really depends, like if you are buying a used bike, a used titanium bike, it really depends on what you need the bike for. The easiest way to tell that if the bike is more built for relaxed geometry, built for, you know, gravel riding, or it's built for speed, is very easy to tell actually. Just look at the gap between the seat tube and the wheel, and then your nose. Like this kind of super tight tolerance, those kind of bike is probably gonna be more rigid. It's gonna be less compliant, but it's gonna be very, the pedal efficiency on those bikes are fantastic. You're not gonna lose much energy when you're pedaling, and I would say it's probably built for racing. But again, I'm not racing, and I don't mind riding those bikes, okay? But if you want a more relaxed geometry, look for a bike that's built more for like endurance kind of a riding style. So the chainstay is much longer, so you have more space between the tire and the seat tube. That way you can run larger tires, and this kind of more relaxed geometry gives you more stability, you know, during riding. It's not gonna accelerate as fast, you know, as say a race bike, but it's more than enough for all the joy and all the fun you're gonna have, okay? But the video today is about, of course, the Siena. It's not about my commute bike. I have another video for that, so check it out in the on the top right corner. I'm gonna put a link over there. But let's take a look at the components, okay? Again, I just washed the bike, so it's nice and clean now. SRAM Force full 22 speed group set. So this is mostly carbon. The levers are carbon. The cranksets are carbon. The derailleurs, the derailleur cage on the bottom is actually carbon as well. And the brake set is very lightweight. However, I would probably prefer a Shimano Ultegra brake set because those actually brakes a little bit better than the Force. With the Ultegra's, the newest dual pivot design, those are very powerful brakes, even though they are actually slightly heavier than the counterparts on the Force. But the Ultegra definitely have better braking performance. But this is sufficient enough, okay? The beautiful full carbon EC90 crankset, I mean the fork, I believe the steering tube is also carbon, but it's hidden so I cannot really tell, but it's a beautiful fork, beautiful fork. The seller had a Thompson 100 millimeter. This is a really nice looking, you know, forged aluminum steering stem. It's probably 7-degree rise, but actually the bike with this 100-degree stem, a 100 millimeter stem, is actually too long for me. So I'm gonna sell the stem and get a shorter stem for my body. I usually ride with an 80 millimeter or 70. I find that much more comfortable. But anyway, so a beautiful, beautiful stem, fully forged aluminum. And of course, it would be nice if it's titanium, but again, that's just, you know, burning money. The seat post is actually a fairly older model. This is Eaton, I think EC70. So it's an older model and it's slightly heavier with a lot more like aluminum, you know, integrated into the carbon parts. So it's gonna be slightly heavier. But again, this seat tube actually, the previous seller actually cut it short. So again, that saved some weight as well over there. On the back, SAM Force group set with a caliper brakes. Now I like Shimano's Ultegra brakes. However, I do like the look of the SRAM Force caliper brakes. They look more modern. They look more, you know, nice and lightweight. So the look is definitely one plus for the SRAM setup. Over here, beautiful 11-speed cassette. I think this is a 11 to 34. So definitely enough for climbing. And this is the Force 22 or Force 11 rear derailleur. So this part is actually carbon and the top is all, you know, metal, built for durability. And crankset, again, this is actually a standard crankset, 5339, I think. It's actually a little bit bigger for my preference. I usually prefer a compact 5034. That actually is much better suited for the riding here in New Jersey where there is a lot of hills. But with my old bike setup, I had a 5034 and a 1130 on the back, I think. So in terms of climbing, I think this one is, with the extra 34, is definitely gonna help during the climb as well over here in my area, which is hilly. And again, I think I already went through the wheel set. The front derailleur, Force 22, And again, it actually shifts very smooth. The force, 2x11 setup in the front. Action is nice and smooth. So really no complaints there. This bike is, when I bought it and I unboxed it, it's just a little bit dirty, and I washed it, and this bike is like new. So I'm really lucked out that I found a perfect titanium bike in my size. And titanium bike nowadays are actually kind of a rarity. It's very hard to find one that have the similar size that fits you, that's used in a reasonable price. Okay, so titanium bikes inherently they're more expensive. So I was lucky to find two that actually fits both of my purpose of commuting and we can joyride. So again, the commute bike with the whole setup, just give you guys an idea of the weight, is about 22.5 pounds for the Van Nicholas titanium with the rear rack and a Tiagra 10-speed group set and a flat bar 3x10 setup, so 30 speed. Great for city commuting, great for climbing, no trouble at all. It just doesn't go as fast as a road bike. So this road bike, Force 2x11 setup, so much more modern in terms of the performance or the smoothness of the gear shifting, and it looks beautiful because of the very nicely crafted titanium frame. This frame, it's geometric. It's very geometric. This is like a square tube that they nicely tuned and shaped. So is the down tube. This is more like a diamond shape that's like kind of narrow over here and wide down here. It's beautiful. The Siena, I don't know why they discontinued the frame. This frame is like, it's fantastic. It's built for speed. Again, compliance-wise, I have to find out in the next section of the video. But this is so far all I want to show you guys. The bike is kind of restored, ready to ride, and the next step would actually be just going out and ride the bike.